Hello, everyone. This is Dirk,
And this is Marcia.
and we're on a mission to make companies more customer centric.
Yes.
Today, it's a little bit of a different episode because usually we take more theoretical concepts and try to apply them in the real world, dissect them, connect them, and try to make sense out of how a customer experience is working. Today is going to be a different episode. We're going to talk about the real thing, how I feel about my favorite customer experiences and how Marcia feels about hers. So before we give it a start, I want to have a few things about experiences. So we live in a world that craves experiences. Remember 15 years ago when the movie theater, was declared dead at the peak of DVD and home theater. We didn't think we would go back to the cinema, but we enjoy being sitting in a crowd. I mean, it's all pre-pandemic, so we don't know where this is going, but we enjoy sitting in a crowd, and then we like the big screen, and we sometimes it's the bass is so strong, we feel our muscles move when whatever, some rocket or whatever, flies over the screen. Or when we think of rock concerts in the 80s, you paid $50, you just stood on the lawn and you just listened to the music, and all this turned into huge spectacles like laser sound, vision, dancers, whatnot. Sometimes you have bracelets and you're all waving, at the same time. Coldplay has done a nice job there. We want to feel it. And, it's we don't really know where it comes from. Maybe it's our drift into the virtual world. Maybe also it's because so many things have become so generic, because companies need to serve twice as many people as they did in the 70s or 80s. The world just doubled in size, right?
Yes.
So that said, we want to be treated as a person, not as a number. We want to be the protagonist in the story and not just be at the receiving end. I guess probably that's where it comes from. Now, after a more or less lengthy introduction, Marcia, when you think about the customer experience, when you feel it, what do you think of?
So the most important thing when I think about my experience is that I'm seen, right? That people get to know what I really want as a customer. And when they get me, I feel comfortable to share. It may be a restaurant, it may be a clothing store, it may be even the online experience that seems to not have someone on the back. But for me, I think the most important thing is when I truly feel understood and seen by whoever is selling me something. And it's interesting because I was reflecting on what we are going to talk today, and I think when there is this selfish aspect of someone selling us and thinking only about pushing things on us, this is something that really bothers me. And I think the part of the experience that is most important is, okay, I care about you. I want to offer something that really makes sense to you and that you feel complete, full, satisfied. So this is when I buy it, even if I cannot buy effectively the product, but I buy the brand, I buy the relationship, I even tell others about that experience. I'm not a client or a customer, but I can tell people what I feel about that. That's the important to me.
And in your case, what makes you come back? What makes you becoming a loyal customer? Because this can happen once,
Yes.
but not necessary, right? So
yes.
If they're able to repeat this, is this what makes you loyal, or is there something else?
I think it makes me loyal. I was thinking about, for instance, when I buy clothes, I don't buy too much. But what makes me come back to a place is when I feel they get what fits me well, what I feel good. And sometimes I used to, when I lived in Brazil, there was one specific store that they got me. And the salesperson knew that, oh, maybe this is something that she likes. So she used to call me and say, hey, stop by. No commitment. I just have something that I want to show you. I stopped there because I trusted that, okay, they get me. So I think
Yeah.
this is something that it made me return because it, in this case, was very personalized, right? The person was a one-on-one thing. But in the electronic world, what makes me come back is I, I enjoy when they have this profile with me and they kind of
Mm.
offer something that is tuned. So, oh, you like this? Maybe you're
Yes.
going to like this. Netflix does that. Amazon does that. And I find interesting how Netflix, for instance, gets me. I'm always fascinated by that because usually they get good things and I go there. So it's interesting how I like go back and become loyal because people get me. That's what makes me go back.
So Netflix has probably they have algorithms
Yes.
that try to understand you, and we know
Mm-hmm.
these days sometimes there are algorithms that understand us better than we understand ourselves. And so
Mm-hmm.
what they do with this kind of, I don't want to say artificial intelligence because it's somewhere before that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still probably something more mechanic. But when you as a customer log on and it shows you movies of your liking, what is this? It's sort of, it's a familiarity. It's a warm feeling. As you said, someone gets me, even when it's an algorithm. I'm
Yes.
I'm still okay with it.
Yes. I am okay with that. I think I like
I have that
technology
too.
and sometimes even if they don't get me, I'm curious because I want to understand the algorithm and it's our work, right? So how to understand the world. But most of the time they get me and I really like how the people behind the scenes creating that is like uh, creating
Yeah,
better ways to have a good experience, right?
and it's interesting. Funny you say that. I had an experience with Netflix the other day that a lot of very violent movies were part
Ooh.
of my recommendations, and I was like,
Mm.
what did I watch that Netflix thinks that actually I do not enjoy violent movies at all. I
Ah.
don't think there's a value in hundreds of people getting killed on the screen, but
Mhm.
it's like, what did and then I realized out of pure boredom, I watched John Wick on the plane because
Oh.
I had seen everything, and John Wick, I looked at it. He kills 96 people on average in every every movie. So I started it on the plane, and then some jet lag night, I was like, okay, so I have to at least see the end of the movie. So I
Mhm.
tuned into John Wick, and then I got all the shooter movies next
Mhm.
week.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, and what makes you um, not come back? So, what really is a no-no for you, for
what throws
instance?
you off? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So in my case, um, I I like experiences that are friendly and warm in a way. So I like because I like the relationship aspect of it. Um, and I might have one of those one of those experiences, and then I come back another day and nothing is left of that experience. So it was a one off. I was
Mhm.
lucky to have that one employee who, I don't know, who had a very good day and
Mhm.
helped me, being me and find what I want. And then the other day, it's like as if it's a cold reset. I'm dealing with a blank sheet of paper again. So when I realized companies rely too much on, I don't know, um, a certain likelihood that employees have a good or bad day, I don't enjoy that at all. Actually, I do enjoy when I get that same experience all over again. Even when
Mhm.
I know it is scripted, I don't mind them being scripted. I like
Mhm.
friendliness and I like warmth and good attitude. And do I care if they're putting on a little bit of show? No. But if I go in the next day and I don't, it's like the box of chocolates from Forrest Gump.
Oh, okay.
I might have the one I really like the first day, and then I'll go back the next day, and there's one I totally don't like. No, that throws me off. That actually makes me look for a different experience somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that you say that. There are moments that we are lucky because, especially when you find a human being that is above and beyond, is almost the personal thing, but that business is really not treating employees well, and you can almost feel they don't care, the business, because when you get the good chocolate, but if you go back and then you see the true story behind
Yes.
how people are treating you, um, if sometimes you have to go to places like hardware stores or places like that. You have to go. Some of them, if you are lucky, you get the person that you mentioned, and is a person who really wants to go with you to the aisle and help you find the product and teach you how to use the product. I'm a
Yeah.
person who does things at home.
Uh,
I appreciate that. But many other times you go and you ask, hey, I need to find this, and you show the picture, say, they don't have it, or I don't.
oh, they
That's,
send you on the other side of the store.
yeah, yeah. So I
Interesting.
think I think this is interesting because it's usual for me when I get one person that helps me and the others don't, that I either try to find that person again, because I know I'm going to get, so it becomes the person, and it's always about the human relation. And when you don't get this attention or this feeling, at least for me, this feeling that I really don't care, buy if you want, or some, it really shuts me down. And
Yeah.
and I have a hard time to go back to places like that.
Yeah, I can see that. So I have a good example in that
Mm,
case.
good.
So, I'm renting cars, not again, not at this time in the pandemic,
Mm-hmm,
but usually I rent cars once or twice a
mm-hmm,
week somewhere. And I'm at Newark Airport at Enterprise, and I'm not loyal at all. I go with the agency that has the nicest car at the best price every time.
mm-hmm.
So, and I change them every time. So I'm at Enterprise, and then that employee takes me to the car, asks me if I want like a basic introduction about where the park brake is and everything. Um, takes the car, pulls it out of its parking spot, opens the door for me, puts my bag in the car, and greets me off. And I look in the rearview mirror, and I'm like, oh, that lucky dude probably got off on the right foot this morning and had a great day. I'm like, I enjoyed the experience. So so I returned the car over a few, probably 10 or maybe 2 weeks later. I rent a car at Billy Bishop Airport in Toronto, and it's the same level of attention. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, Enterprise. And I'm like, okay, okay. So I feel like I had this before. And then a week later in Atlanta, the same thing. So, and then I couldn't help but ask and say, something has changed with you people, because usually I have a different experience every time, but now you all seem to be overly friendly and everything and attentive to me. And they said, yeah. And the guy said, I can't quote it word by word, but said, yeah, we as a company, we decided to take a deep look into how we create the relationship with the customers, and it's important that for all of us that you're happy and you feel like you have a good experience. He actually said the word experience.
Wow.
So Enterprise, if this is a consolidated effort to improve your customer experience for these three branches, it was definitely working. And if you do, stay at it. It's great. I'll be a loyal customer if you do.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcia, I found myself after those three experiences. So I was in Zurich last week, and I found myself, looking at the offerings of Enterprise first, because I feel like I need to reward them for what they give me, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the what loyalty is the sense of retribution that we feel when we are treated well. or these, okay, why am I going to bet or take a risk with others if I know I'm getting what I really
Yes.
care or I really want, right? And it's interesting because I'm thinking about what we spoke in this previous episodes, right? And we said about the easy and enjoyable, right?
Enjoyable. Yeah.
Reliable and repeatable. You just made a reliable, repeatable example. So we went to completely different spaces and it was the same. And the person
And
even put
enjoyable.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
and I just mentioned that, okay, if it was not really enjoyable when I didn't get the person to care about what I wanted, right? So it's interesting because these are part of how companies can be conscious or unconscious in providing this experience for us, right?
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Marcia, we want to keep it short and crisp. You know, we always say that, but I
Mm-hmm.
think this was not so short, but hopefully crisp. For all of you watching, we hope you enjoyed this more conversational episode. So I do have to say, I enjoyed it, and
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
always happy the moment we start, talking about our experiences, sharing and trying to understand what companies actually need to do to offer customers these experiences. So next episode, we're going to go deeper, talk about moments that matter, how to figure them out, and how to make them work. This is
Yeah,
Dirk,
this is Marcia.
and
Thank
we're
you
on a
for
mission
watching.
to make companies more customer centric. Thanks
Yeah,
for
yeah.
watching.
Thank you for watching.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.